Hi, I'm Anastasia Forrest, a broker associate with the Forrest team at eXp Realty. And today I'm going to talk to you about how you, as a buyer, can help your offer stand out in a seller's market. So, at the time of the making of this video, it is May 2021, and we are in the midst of a competitive seller's market. If you don't know what this means, it basically means that there are more buyers out there looking to buy a home than there are homes on the market for sale. So this leads to situations where homes are going on the market, and within a few days, they're getting multiple offers and often even closing over asking price. So as a buyer approaching this market, there are definitely things that you can do to help you stand out when you're making your offer and help your offer to get accepted. And in this video, I'm going to give you 5 things that you can do to do just that. So here we go. The first thing that you can do is find an experienced realtor to work with. You need somebody that's familiar with the market that you're looking to buy in and somebody that has experience, because somebody that's in the market day in and day out is going to be able to help you figure out what is working and what is not as far as getting an offer accepted. The second thing that you can do is, if you're financing, and I'll just say on an aside, if you're a cash buyer, you do have an advantage. They say cash is king, and sellers are more likely to choose a cash offer, simply because there's less risk of things going wrong. With financing, things can happen, and sellers know that. But please, buyers that are using financing, do not despair, because I'm actually going to give you some really good things in this video that will help you. So, if you are a buyer who's using financing, I highly recommend working with your lender to get not only a pre-qualification, but go ahead and go the extra mile. There's just some additional steps, and go ahead and get that pre-approval. A pre-approval is a more solid piece of paper that we can present to a seller, showing that you are financially capable of buying that home. And it will definitely help your offer to stand out if you have not a pre-qualification, but a pre-approval. The third thing that you can do is, we can be creative about how we structure the very first part of the offer. And I'm talking about earnest money. Earnest money is also known as a good faith deposit, and it is a portion of the purchase price that you go ahead and agree to put down within 3 days of going under contract. Usually that would be 1% of the purchase price. But in this market, I'm seeing buyers be more creative with that. And we're actually seeing larger earnest money deposits going in in the first place. And then often a second additional earnest money deposit going in after inspection. So basically, that money does get subtracted from your total cash to close at the end of the sale. But it shows that you're serious. It shows that you want that house, and that you are going to go ahead and start investing in that purchase. So, and this money is refundable depending on the terms of the offer, but it does help to show that you're serious and show that seller you're more likely to close that transaction than somebody that's just putting down 1%. So you can be creative with that. The fourth thing that you can do to help your offer stand out is to find out, and your agent would do this actually by talking with the seller's agent, but if you can find out what it is that the seller is looking for in an offer, it's not always about price. There may be other terms that are actually just as important to the seller, including they may want a later move out date. They may want somebody that can close more quickly. They may want to have a lease back after closing, which means that they would rent the home from you once you took ownership of the home for a certain amount of time. So if there are creative ways that you can structure your offer to work with that particular seller's needs and desires, that will also help you to stand out and help your offer to be more likely to be accepted. And finally, last but not least, there may be certain contingencies that you could waive, even if you are financing. If you're using cash, then you can pretty much waive any contingency you like. Obviously, there's no built-in appraisal contingency for cash, but there is usually an inspection contingency. If you felt really good about the house and you weren't planning to ask the sellers for repairs, you could always waive the inspection contingency, saying that you're not even going to have that certain amount of time to decide whether you want to back out or not. So that would be like that's probably the strongest offer you could make, would be a cash offer, with no inspection contingency. But if you're financing, something that you could do, you could of course waive inspection contingency unless you're using a certain type of financing that you needed certain inspections to be done. But you could potentially waive the appraisal contingency. Now, in order for the bank to give you a loan, they're going to have a certain price, that they will be willing to loan you the money for. So, say, for example, you were planning to buy a house at the purchase price of $325,000. But when the appraisal came back, the house appraised for $320,000, $5,000 under what your purchase price was. In your offer, you could have already written that you will make up the difference with cash. If you had the ability to do that, I've seen buyers do this. In this particular market, you could make that up with some cash. Now, if you wanted to set a limit, you can also do that in your offer, using the help of your realtor, obviously. But you could say something like, if property under appraises, buyer will buyer will make up the difference with cash up to $10,000 or something like that. Like, you could set a limit. So there are things that these are more drastic measures, waiving contingencies and such, but it is being done. I'm seeing it happen here and there, and I just want to give you guys as much information as I can, since I'm in the market day in and day out, to how I can help you, give you some ideas, make your offer stand out, and get that offer accepted so you can buy your home. I hope this video has been helpful. I do have a whole guide that I've created about buying a home. It covers the whole process from start to finish. And I'm going to include a link to that below. So check that out. In the meantime, if you have any questions, you want to reach out to talk to me one on one, my number is 904-501-7924. Hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.